What up, everybody? Welcome on in to the pre-patch podcast. I need to change it to the main podcast here. That would be nice. Welcome on in. Oh, they can't hear you guys either. Good times. Oh. Now they can. There we go.
Listen to me. Yeah. Hear
Good
my
times.
voice.
Good times. But yeah, welcome on into the pre-patch podcast. What's up, everybody? It's been 2 fucking weeks. Holy shit. 2 weeks, man. I believe, right?
3 weeks for me.
3 weeks. 3 weeks for me too.
Week for me.
Yeah.
Because we did 101.
3 weeks for all of us besides you.
Besides
me.
Besides me.
Because it was just you and
I'm the only one that holds it down in
Yeah.
here, boys. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
You still haven't gotten your vacation time.
I haven't, man. I need it.
At this point, I don't know if you're going to get it. I'm sorry. You can blame that on Sin. Obviously, guys, we are a man down tonight.
We are.
Our resident.
As you can see with the addition of the thermostat and the ice pack once again, we are down a Sinon and not for any like substantial reasons, you know. It's that he got sick a fucking game.
You guys, as the viewer, can you guess how he got sick? I'll give
I
you
wonder.
Ding, ding,
wonder
ding.
how.
You got it. He went to another convention.
I don't know what we're gonna do with this guy, man. I really don't.
I know. I mean, he's running out of PTO, man.
Or if it was stomach, because if it's stomach, then it's just White Castle, and he'll be fine in a few days.
Honestly,
I mean that is true.
White Castle.
That is true.
Yeah.
Either White Castle or just general Vegas food.
Shit.
Okay.
Okay, we got the man in the chat right now. Sorry
to hear that. Yeah, feel better, buddy. Hopefully, hopefully you get through it pretty quickly.
You need to have a serious conversation with your employers about your health and well-being. I don't think you're going to do them any good from a hospital bed.
And we're not talking about us. We are talking about your actual employers. Because it's unacceptable here. It's unacceptable that you're missing work here. But
it is extremely unacceptable.
You gotta talk to them about.
You have been out of paid time off for about the past like 4 weeks.
Right.
So.
And if you keep going down this road without a doctor's note, there's going to be some corrective actions. We're going to need to have some verbal warnings and some written warnings, probably. Well, I don't know, man. I think we're past the verbal warnings at this point.
Anyways, yeah. So we are down a man. Hopefully he gets feeling better. Love you much. Love you big time, buddy. But we will carry on. We will carry that flag all the way to the end. You know how it goes. But anyways, how you guys doing? Scruff, Bill? I know it's been a couple of weeks.
It's been a few weeks. Yeah. I'm doing well. Move is fully settled. This is actually from a entirely new location. So that's pretty sick. Nasty.
New location in a basement in the Mojave Desert. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You'll never know.
He's in a bunker somewhere.
He's in a bunker basement in the Mojave Desert, man. But yeah, I know we haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully everything's doing well. Scruff, I know that you're fresh from a concert, so you're probably
fresh from a concert. I am, because I also myself did get sick this past weekend too, so there was a bit of
public
strain on me as well. Seriously, man.
Just be like me and stick to the interwebs, you know.
This is the second time I've caught whatever this was in like the past like month, and it's just taking a toll on me.
And that is a big problem with like working in the medical field in general, is that like you're gonna get sick one way or another. Like you can do every prevention.
Yeah. I'm changing how I'm going about it. Like, you know, we dropped the mask mandate, you know, the beginning of like pretty much summer and everything. And I'm going to go back to wearing masks, even though it's mandated now to only like by patients. I'm doing it just all the time and taking echinacea to boost my immune system. Just try something, you know.
Probably really, not a bad idea.
Being sick here.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah. Either way, we're getting there. I'm feeling better now. I'm just zonked out because, like I said, I just got back from a Joji concert down in Columbus just last night. That was a really, really good time. It was a lot of fun. Joji, man, he's got some good stuff. Yeah, Filthy Frank. If y'all are unaware,
I have no clue who that is. I'm too much of a boomer to know who the fuck that is. Apparently.
He was like YouTube around like 2012, like 10.
Okay, maybe I should know him then. I don't remember. So.
Yeah,
you should know Filthy Frank.
You should.
I probably do. I just
he He hung around with like iDubbbz in that group.
He was Pink Guy. If you knew like Pink Guy, I don't
maybe
know,
it's ringing a bell. Ringing a bell.
But
anyways,
he's good, man. Yeah, it was a good time. We're here
so
now.
we have sick people. We have people on doing their thing with moving and all that shit. And Enigma is holding it down in the corner doing nothing because my life is amazing. So.
Your life is like a video game.
It is. Yeah. It really is. It really is. Yeah. So, but yeah,
well, I mean,
hopefully all you guys are doing well.
For a robot, man.
That's true, man. I mean, I do have access to the internet, so there is some pretty weird shit. Just gonna put that out there. Don't go on the dark web. Not a pretty sight. Okay. Anyways, while we may have not been doing the episodes, we may have not been doing the podcast, news has been filtering in, as you guys well know. Last week was TwitchCon, which again, we've already covered it. Our faithful member Sinan was there live, as alive as he can be, I guess, for getting sick. But to be honest, like it's from what I've heard, it was a really good fucking TwitchCon. We're gonna move right into like the main section of the news. Really great TwitchCon from everybody's that was basically participated, other than a few key factors, which we will talk about here in a few. Everybody's saying that it's great. I think it was Miskiff, or not Miskiff. Who was it? One of the big time creators of OTK came out and was just basically like, hey, Twitch feels amazing now. Like Twitch, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was about TwitchCon, but like this year's TwitchCon and this year's Twitch feels different in a really, really positive direction, like a really positive way.
Which is
so
something we haven't heard for a couple
which is not,
years
yeah.
now.
We've not heard like decent things being said about Twitch
basically.
since 2020. 2019, somewhere around there. So it's crazy, man. But I will agree with him. Like like all the announcements that were actually announced, honestly, some of them were pretty decent. Like, I don't know if you guys watched, but like the big ones, Twitch Stories is now official, which we already knew about. Kind of, they were kind of hinting that was going to get rolled out here pretty quickly, anyways. So that's now official. So if you want to do anything like shorts or anything like that, a lot of people are saying that that's a really good aspect of doing like doing a Twitch story before you actually go live, and you'll get a little bit more engagement of some instances.
Interesting. Okay.
Any form of engagement or any form of like traffic push to your actual live stream is going to be huge for Twitch, because they don't have anything like that, right? The only way you could do that prior was just to do like a YouTube video or something like that, like a YouTube short, basically going, hey, I'm live over on Twitch, so come over here,
Yeah. So this is good. It's an on-platform way to kind of
for sure.
That.
And I'm really hoping, and I think Scruffy, you've talked about it in the past, I'm really hoping that that's like a push for them to push for more like offline discoverability. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. I'm excited to see more about that. They also announced guest star is being, we kind of talked about this in the past. They were kind of toying with the idea. Guest star is being renamed as Stream Together. We talked about this, I think, like 5 or 6 episodes back, where they had announced it. Which, okay, I don't really think that many people used it to begin with, but like from what I've heard, the way that they're pushing forward like this rename and this rebrand, it's going to be a little bit easier on people to do like those types of like not multi streams, like multi-person streams, right, where you can have like guests on. Apparently all you have to do is just give your friend an access code, like a one-time key access code. They plug it into their OBS, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're live with your buddy, right? Some of the cool things that I saw on it as well was like, they're talking about shared viewer numbers, which is interesting to me. So like, I'm curious if that means that like it's going to merge your viewer numbers for both your channels. That'd be interesting. Scruffy, you're muted, by the way. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know how long I've been muted for.
I don't know how long you've been muted for either. I just looked over there and you're like,
That's fine. I've only had small little interjects or whatever. But I wonder if that's going to be exploited. That's
I don't know.
My concern with that.
I would.
That's very interesting.
Considering how they're killing embeds here soon, which do we have a date on when they're actually going to be pushing through that change to embeds so that they don't autoplay?
I didn't see a date on it. I also didn't. Okay. I thought that was old news, so I didn't put it in here. So if there's any more information,
we'll saying, like along with that, they're kind of trying to get numbers as organic as possible.
Very true. Yeah. I'm just curious how that's going to react with like you said, that it's very much so like if they don't do it decently, that could be a very big exploit point, right?
Very, very
But
big. I mean,
on the
all it
other
takes
hand,
is like one big streamer to have like a small friend, like, hey man, just
well,
be live with me.
yeah, the only thing that I have to say about that
my
is
numbers.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about that though is like they already have they've already had stuff like that with like the hosting in the past.
They never had shared numbers before.
True, but again, like
hosting was never like a real boost. It was like kind of inflated numbers, and they don't always show correctly.
It was a boot. And that's what I was going to put it. That's what I was going to point out is like back in the past, like no matter what, if they were on your stream or not, you were showing those numbers for that host, right? So like if they had those things, and then they finally pushed it towards where it was like if you're inactive, if you're not in the stream, you're not showing on their actual numbers.
And that's how they fixed it, because that's like why hosting kind of became insignificant, and rating was more of the way to go, is because you could host somebody and
I have to kind of hope
like stagnant viewers.
I have to kind of hope that like Twitch has their shit together at this point with when it comes to like number spoofing or whatever you want to call it, right? But obviously, put that put that as you will, or whatever you want to call it. Like Twitch is not very good with that kind of shit.
Going through a test like trial with this? Are they?
I think they already have. They've been going through a test trial with it. As far as I know, it's been tested on a number of like select small channels and bigger channels.
Like the stream together, not just guest star.
Yep.
The guest star's been out for a while. So this is like a new.
It's basically the same thing. Guest star and stream together are the same thing. They're just rebranding it and pushing in some more. The other thing I found kind of cool was merge chats. They were talking about like the chats for both of you are going to be merged into one chat, which I think is kind of interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That'll
be an interesting point. And then new chat moderation tools, which we talked about in the past, where there was new chat moderation tools for like anti hate raids and everything like that. So just giving everybody a little bit more control over like what is going on in your chats, as well as like what's what you deem acceptable for your specific channel and such. So with that, those are kind of the smaller things, and then obviously we have one of the bigger hitting announcements from the entire thing. Twitch is removing the rules where they basically made it so that you can multi-stream to different platforms. They're removing that.
That's huge, man.
It is huge. It's actually big.
You are now able to simul stream on any platform you want.
Well,
like
with an exception.
Well, they have their weird rules.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to point out. Yes, you can.
It is any platform.
You can stream to any platform. Yes, there is no restrictions on platform. The only restrictions that they did put in place, because as Twitch always has to do, they come up with something really good and then they do the dumbest fucking thing possible.
Well, let's not give them stupidest credit for coming up with this, though. Because they didn't come up with this. They just are now finally allowing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, though. Is like they come up with these great ideas for their specific platform. And which the entire community has been asking for them to do let us do multi-streaming since they enabled the TOS portion where you couldn't multi-stream, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Big ups to
was
them.
like a subset for a while, but
and Instagram Live, but those weren't real. Like that's not what people meant.
Big ups to them and everything like that. Yeah, this and we'll go into that. So big ups to them and everything like that. But like the little tiny nitpicks, obviously the biggest ones are like exclusivity. This is stuff for like multicasting for partners and then multicasting for people that are not partners, right? So exclusivity when it comes down to all under monetized stream agreements can now simulcast no matter what. If you're a partner and you have an exclusivity agreement, you cannot simulcast though. And we kind of saw some stuff like that today from Co-Carnage, I think is what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, he brought it up that he's one of the small subsect that it is not in his contract to be able to use this feature. But when his contract is being re-upped, he is going to be arguing this because he wants
100%. He should.
His own
Yeah.
words. He wanted this feature yesterday.
Yeah, no,
So.
it's ridiculous. I don't think that, like, I think that if you're going to change the TOS for everybody, you should go back and retroactively change it for agreements and like contracts as well. I think personally that's
and
a little bit
I wonder. I got to think, or at least hope that they're going back and going to be amending those contracts.
I think they would have done it prior to them even announcing this.
You would have
thought.
Or
a lot of hope that they're going to. I think they're just going to
coincide with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going to be talking about it on next re-up because I mean, end of the year's coming up. They are going to be re-upping contracts here.
That's what I was saying. Is like when it comes down to like contracts, the big contracts that you have, like Carnage, like some of the bigger names, they're coming up on like their 2-year mark, which usually I think Twitch, if I remember correctly, only signs like 2 or 3 year deals in the first place. So
I believe so.
I'm curious to see how that's going to change when they come up to renegotiating each of their contracts, because that's you got to think like. If I was in Co's shoe, 100%, I'd be like, hey, like that needs to be stricken from the contract, like ASAFP, like you said, like yesterday, because that's ridiculous, you know. Chat usage which was a weird one. So apparently they've got some kind of an issue with like chat usage and showing chat on like an overlay, like combined chats.
Yeah,
so
a combined chat overlay,
normal,
like such as like restream chat.
Yeah. So like normal affiliates and non exclusive agreement streamers can use chat, Twitch only chat embeds and view other chats privately. That doesn't mean that you can have them up on your actual stream, so you can't have like YouTube or Kick up on your stream.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm literally taking it to word for word, but it says you can't combine chats.
You cannot.
I wonder
you cannot
if you can just put 2 different chats side by side, not combine them. Is that still?
Maybe there might be a way around it.
No,
I don't know.
You can't show chats.
Can't show
platforms.
Multiple chats at all. Okay, gotcha.
Nope. Cannot.
Well, don't relay or show chats from other platforms is an exclusive agreement only. That's the difference between those two, is that it's an exclusivity only. The top one is the basics and the bottom one is exclusivity agreements. So I'm curious about that. We'll have to look into that. But as far as I was, I was aware, it was you couldn't combine chats at all. Like you couldn't show different chats. It had to be, if you were going to show chats, it was a Twitch only chat only.
Twitch only. Yeah, figured as much.
Understanding of it as well.
That was my understanding of it.
Just Twitch just liking to have that little bit of control there.
it's one of those things that there was a couple.
It's a weird hill to die on.
Yeah, there was. It's one of those things where it was a couple of people were like, if you want to be the controlling girlfriend, be the controlling girlfriend, but you can't have it both ways. Like.
Okay.
You would think with them allowing like multi-streaming and stuff like that they would be like maybe wanting to merge these communities so that you could see, like, make it easier for people to have these conversations across platforms. Are they just afraid that people are more likely going to jump?
So what are they going to do, man? Like
from what what I saw,
and I'm just like, go ahead.
I was going to say, so from what I've seen, I was watching Harris Heller. He apparently got a hold of Dan Clancy. He got a hold of him at one point during TwitchCon and sat down with him in a fucking In-N-Out at like midnight. Apparently they were both in an In-N-Out at midnight, and he was just like, "Hey,
Dan Clancy looks like the kind of guy that would
we're going to talk about it later on." Like it seems like he's just a really straight down to earth kind of guy, but like he was there, and he just kind of pulled Harris Heller over and was like, "Let's have like a quick conversation," and it turned into like an hour-long conversation with Harris Heller where he was just like, they were both separate, pushing ideas towards each other. And what he said to that specific one is that Dan Clancy and Twitch feel like Twitch has the better chat. They have the better chat interactions between all of the streaming platforms, which I tend to have to agree with him on that.
Yeah.
That doesn't really explain the aversion to having them on the same screen. I don't understand that, but whatever. It's
like it's no secret if you're going to be simul streaming. It's not like it's going to be a secret. It's going to
be hella confusing if you're responding to a conversation.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
That's what I'm saying. So what are we're going to be like, oh, Red64 from YouTube says, "Hi, how are you?" And this guy from Twitch is saying this, and like,
it's just it's a very weird way of doing it for sure. It's very arbitrary, and I don't think that it should be the way that it was handled. I think that that's like one of those things that they really needed to kind of dig in a little bit more and kind of come to a realization that like real world doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's a great thing that they're doing this, and I feel like they do this and just let it be what it is. Don't interject yourself into this and make it something like that you are making. Like,
and then
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's so
one of the bigger weird ones that I kind of found was kind of strange is the quality. So stream the same quality everywhere is for the people that have the ability to, they don't have an exclusive agreement, which I don't understand this. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if you're going to require that, then you need to boost your quality. You need to boost the ability to have 1440p streams. If you want to allow me to have multicast on
this one's like the places, jealous girlfriend, right?
Yeah, like 100%.
Like you can stream over on YouTube in 4K quality and it looks beautiful, and then people like are over there on Twitch and like 1080p and like grainy, and it's like
they don't want people to. Even 1080p doesn't look good with the bit rate that Twitch allows.
Not only at 8K.
That 939 or whatever it was, like that weird
936 or whatever,
960 or whatever.
YouTube does not support that, so it's going to downgrade that to a 720p stream anyway. So
it's
here really like was frustrating.
It's frustrating and confusing
between the two.
It's frustrating and confusing to the point that I'm just like, well, what's the reason for doing it then? If you're going to go over to YouTube, obviously
they want Twitch to have a comparable viewer experience to whatever you're multi-streaming to.
Yeah.
In terms of quality, though, it's not going to be comparable.
I was about to say, because like their bit rates and their ability to what's called to render is so much worse on YouTube or on Twitch than it is on like YouTube, that it's just not even funny. Like,
way of kind of neutering the competition while also like allowing like
it's like we have a handicap, so we're going to require everybody else to have a handicap, right? It's
right.
You know
it's a very strange one.
You know what it's like? It's like the fucking Xbox Series S, where it's holding back the Xbox Series X from game development.
Sure,
it is.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
You have to,
I will 100% agree with that. Yep. So that was a big one, a big weird one for me, and I just feel like it's one of those things where like Twitch, you just either need to shut the hell up and let people stream at whatever bit rate they want to on these other platforms, or you need to bump your bit rate. You need to allow people to do 1440 streams. If everybody, you need to allow everybody to do 1440 streams. If that's what you're worried about, is the quality can't be the same or can't be different on, say, like YouTube than Twitch, then fucking boost the ability to have the quality. Like that should not be a punishment for us just because of your limitations for your your tech. So
as a viewer too of multiple platforms, I can pretty much say that like that is not going to take somebody away from Twitch. For if they like watching you on Twitch, they're going to watch you on Twitch.
Very much.
They're not going to be like, oh, your stream looks so much crisper on YouTube, but the chat interactability sucks over there. So I'm going to stay on Twitch.
Yep.
Like it's not going to take it away. Like just
And then the last one, that just so we're kind of off this, you can't add links to, or you can add links to your about section and use QR codes for like your YouTube if you want to kind of push people to your YouTube, or God forbid you go to Kick, right? But now they're not allowed. They won't allow you to have live links. So you, while we're live, we can't be like, hey, go check out our YouTube, or have like a little stinger that has our YouTube plugged on it, right? So I don't know, man. It's just such a great thing for Twitch to push out, but then it just kind of it's like 6 steps forward, but then they take like 3 steps back with all the bullshit that they push into it, right?
Yeah. End of the day, it's still finally a really good feature that they've been needing for a long time. So I'm happy for it.
What I said when they announced it is like, I am choosing to look at the positives. At least we have simulcasting on Twitch now. Right. I'm choosing to look at the positives. It's a step forward from what we've been seeing from Twitch, which was just L after L after L. Right. They just continuously did stupid shit left and right. So,
and like we were talking about in the podcast chat, how strongly are they actually going to be enforcing this?
That is a good question as well.
Is all over the place in general. So,
well, it's like how are they going to know?
Are they actually going to have people that are going to be bouncing like
between like YouTube and Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if they're gonna be the jealous girlfriend, it's very possible.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
they load up somebody's stream and they see, oh, user fucking
You got the 1440p pop.
YouTube. He's not on Twitch. We and it's popping up on the screen. Can't have this guy streaming anymore.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm like I said again, I'm choosing to look at it in the positive light. At least we now have a better Twitch with simulcasting. The next step that they need to go to is either one of two things. And I think the first thing that I'm going to say is a lot easier than the second thing, right? Stop with the fucking ad bullshit. Push less ads because that's going to push more people away from your
push
your
less
platform.
ads or at least rework them.
Yeah, and then the second thing, go back to 70-30 split. This 50-50 split is not working for you. Did you see that he was the Tom Clancy or Dan Clancy? I'm sorry. I keep getting him mixed up with Tom Clancy. Dan Clancy, did you see that during the presentation he was giving out vouchers for 70-30 split?
What?
I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I saw something that they were giving out like little vouchers for like a 70-30 split, and I was like, what?
Here, you get 70-30 split for a month. Enjoy.
I'm like, how does that make sense? So I'm curious if that was true.
They're going to be okay. That makes me think like maybe they're gonna putting like a system into place to like.
Okay, so Sin is verifying that was fake. That was not real. Okay, good, because that was such a weird thing to me. I was like, "There's why would that be a thing?" Yeah, like it made no sense. It sounded like a nonsensical. So I'm glad that was not real. Okay, my bad.
You want to hear something funny that's actually happening like within the last hour? You were talking about Harris Heller having that conversation with Dan Clancy. He is right now or doing a live stream with Dan Clancy.
Yeah.
With a merged multi-chat, and his description has multi-streaming to YouTube and Kick.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So Harris pushing back immediately.
So that's it.
While also being on the horn with Dan Clancy.
So that's a really good like segue into what I was going to talk about next. Was this is not what I was going to talk about next. Well, it kind of is. So over the weekend and over TwitchCon, we had a couple of little situations. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the name Aiden Ross. He's been kind of in the news recently, you know.
I don't know about that.
Kind of heard about him every once in a while, but he apparently went to TwitchCon this weekend and was walking around with an entourage of buddies wearing Kick shirts. Which is not a surprise. We saw a couple of different situations where we saw a lot of people wearing Kick shirts, while a lot of people wearing Kick merchandise. To me, it was kind of one of those things where it felt like I wouldn't say like a manufactured like push toward from Kick. Like I don't think that Kick went out and was like, hey, everybody go to TwitchCon and wear your Kick shirt, right?
No.
But I definitely think that it was one of those things where it was like,
it's just clout chasing.
Kick people that stream on Kick a lot of the times, and I'm not saying it's all of them. I'm not saying that it's everybody, right? Obviously, there are those people on Kick that are specifically over there because they feel like it's a better place.
For the people that did this, you know what you're
doing. For
you're
these
not
people,
doing this without knowing.
Aiden Ross and all of his little buddies went over there to cause drama. They were walking around fully on display, trying to do everything that they could to piss people off. And they got kicked out. They literally got kicked out of TwitchCon wearing Kick shirts. It was almost like he was advertising to Twitch what he wanted them to do to him on his chest. So that was kind of an interesting one. We didn't really know why, and this is one thing that I will say, like Twitch staff notoriously bad about.
We did know why.
Well, we did.
It was confusing at first.
Dan Clancy did come out. Yeah, it wasn't because of that. So Dan Clancy revealed that he had actually gone through. Aiden Ross had obtained his tickets and stuff to TwitchCon illegally a bit, basically. If you're a perma-banned person on Twitch, you cannot buy a ticket to TwitchCon.
And right. I was going to say, like, I knew this was the reason. Like, we have seen this in the past before. I can't name who it was, but in previous TwitchCons, we have seen people get kicked out for being permabanned and trying to show up.
We saw it last year with that Saikuno guy, right?
Exactly.
He went over to YouTube, and when he then went, I don't know if he bought a ticket or if he was there on somebody else's behalf, like a secondary version, but he did get kicked out. I don't know if it was the same instance. I don't know if Sykkuno was actually permabanned, but yeah, Sykkuno is permabanned. Okay, so that's
if
a
you're
lot of
banned, you're permabanned from Twitch. You're not allowed to their event, and they've stated that and made that clear before. So that was the whole entire reason that he got kicked out. And the real zinger of all of this,
Sykkuno is not permabanned. Okay,
correction. Okay,
correction.
all of his, Aiden Ross's little buddies, who are all flocking around him.
That's one thing that I have a question for you guys as well.
Twitch.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have a question for you guys as well. Do you guys feel like that was like handled well, in your opinion?
Initial,
I think it was the proper way of doing it. It was the proper response. How it was handled, I don't think they.
I was gonna say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The response, the response is what I'm asking. Do you think the response with them being banned, all of his little butt buddies being banned, was held? Was
because they were trying to stir drama.
That was fine. I just think the Twitch staff, like in the moment of getting,
they could have handled that better.
That was my biggest issue.
Honestly,
is like
it needed to happen. I
100%. Yeah.
I honestly don't even think that was Twitch staff. That was probably just some contracted security guards.
I think that the one that came after was a Twitch staff. The one that came in was the one in the red shirt. I don't think was Twitch staff. Yeah, but that was what I was going to bring up. Is like if you're okay, so Twitch. I'm talking to you directly right now, right? If you are a Twitch staff and you come up to somebody and you say, "Hey, get out of TwitchCon. You're against TOS, right?" And they ask you, well, what TOS am I up against? Like, what TOS am I doing wrong? You as a Twitch staff should know what the fuck to say. Like the response of "you'll have to find that out" is not a proper response.
Unfortunately, we've seen it many times in the past that Twitch staff, pretty much they don't know their own TOS a lot of the times.
It just amazed me, man. Like that cracked me up because it like. As an employee of Twitch, I would imagine that you would want your people that are dishing out like bans or there to deal with these kinds of situations would know the TOS fairly well enough to be like, or even if they don't know the TOS, at least get the information when you go up to them and they're like, "Hey, you're against TOS," right? Like if you're going to tell somebody you're against TOS, at least have the knowledge of what the fuck they did and why they're against TOS. Don't just go up to them and be like, "Well, you're breaking TOS. What TOS? You're gonna have to find that out." That is such a Twitch fucking
Enigma,
thing to say.
I'm gonna need you to get off this show, man. You're breaking our TOS.
It is such a Twitch thing to say, man, and it's ridiculous to me, dude.
It is.
But on a good note for that though, one thing I did want to point out, and I'm not sure if I have the video for it, but like, and we kind of started talking about it with Dan Clancy, right? I think he was the best choice for CEO that they could have hoped for. Like just seeing his interactions over the TwitchCon events has been amazing, dude. Like he went, there was one instance.
He's really in the community. Yeah, that's what I feel like.
There was one instance where he was walking down the street and he ran across some people. I don't think I have it in my thing right here, unfortunately. But okay, well, I don't have it on my thing.
I don't know what your thing is.
I don't have it. I don't have it on my browser right now, so I'm not going to be able to pull it up. But he was walking down the street. There was a couple of people that were streaming. Unfortunately or not, they were streaming on Kick. The dude was like, "Hey, how's it going, Dan?" Dan walked up to him and was like, "Hey, man, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Blah blah blah." And then the dude is like, "Well, I got something to tell you, man. We're streaming on Kick." And Dan Clancy, without missing a beat, was just like, "Hey, bro, that's your choice. Good for you, man." Gave the dude a high five and walked off. To me, that is such a great way of handling that kind of situation because, like, obviously it was not comfortable for him, right? Like he couldn't have been comfortable
because they wanted a reaction out of him.
Exactly.
That's what they wanted.
That's all they wanted. They were fishing for reactions.
Yeah. Fine. So it's just such a weird thing to have, but he handled that so well. And there's plenty of other interactions of him, like we said, like the Harris Heller, him being in just like a fucking in and out at midnight and being like, "Hey, let's go and talk for an hour," right? He really does. I feel like this
just hangs, man.
I feel like this CEO is such a better choice for CEO than the last one. The last one couldn't have given a fuck less about Twitch.
He honestly, he gives me Phil Spencer vibes.
He does, right?
That's like where I'm
and
getting from him.
he streams, and unfortunately he did not get partner. He applied for partner. He did not get partner. So
that's cool, man.
He's got to try a little harder.
He's got to try a little harder.
Yep. And of course, those fucking vultures over at Kick had to hijack the post and be like, "Hey Dan, you can come over to Kick. We'll give you partner because."
The little clout chasers over there. Yeah, I don't know. It's that's been a big issue that I have with Kick for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it in the past. Is like it's just anything
punching up at Twitch.
Yeah, anything bad that happens, they are there. They're in the comment section.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about you guys. I'm over even giving them the spotlight on it. Like it's just like let them do their thing in their corner, man.
We still have a couple of other instances of Kick that we have to talk about. Kind of going off of that as well. We've been hearing some rumors. Dan Clancy came on and said basically that Twitch itself will no longer be making huge deals. So they've come out and said that they will no longer be signing huge contracts, like huge number contracts for people.
Yeah.
Which he says that it's not sustainable, which I've always said that was the case in the first place. Like it's not sustainable for Kick. It's not sustainable for Twitch. It's not sustainable for YouTube to do that, to pay these big multi-million-dollar deals, right? We heard it from Kick recently when they were talking about the doc and how they said that 50 million was too much for a doc, right? Which again, I don't want to dredge up. I feel like that would have been the better option than XQC personally, but hey, Kick, you do what you got to do, man.
I think so too, but also you have to remember, Doc's only streams 3 times a week, and he doesn't stream the hours. And he doesn't gamble.
It's the numbers.
Like
he doesn't gamble.
It's the numbers that they're looking at.
Yeah.
XQC just pulls more numbers.
So that is one of the bigger things. So like moving forward, we're not going to, according to Dan, at least from Twitch, we're not going to be seeing these huge big money deals that we've seen in the past for acquiring.
Does not mean that they're not going to be like
keeping
up with their partners.
Doesn't mean as far as I know,
looking for new acquisitions.
Exactly. As far as we know, at least. Yeah, there's just not going to be any huge money deals. They basically said that they're tired of basically getting into bidding wars with Kick and YouTube, and it's just not sustainable for them as a platform. And then all down here, this is just a rumor as well. I'm not entirely sure if this is even true or not, but there was where was it? There was something in here that said that right here, according to the reports, 2 individuals familiar with YouTube strategists also said that the company will follow Twitch in moving away from signing talent to big deals. So obviously you're looking at it, Twitch and YouTube are looking at it like we're losing way too much money on these big deals, and it's just not sustainable for us. Kick, you can do whatever the fuck you want to with your money. Do what you got to do. So
they love throwing their money.
They will, but I don't think that it's going to be continuing that way. We did see over the weekend Nick Merckx signed an 8-figure deal. So that was very interesting. It's not as big of a deal though as they've signed in the past, which I think that kind of shows that maybe they are not doing so well with those big signings, right? Like maybe they spent too much money on XQC.
Maybe.
I don't,
just a little bit.
I don't think we have the numbers. The full numbers
for it. Just got the 8-figure,
concrete. Nick Merckx is an interesting choice to go over there though, because there's not really any of that competitive shooter vibe over on the Kick front. It's mostly IRL streams.
Very true.
So them actually picking up a legit gamer is an interesting play. And it was kind of something that YouTube was doing there for a while, where they were wanting to get like people from different niches of gaming to kind of flesh out their like upper echelon.
Exactly. Cover their grounds pretty much.
So, Nick Merckx an interesting one.
Very interesting.
I wouldn't say he necessarily fits the Kick vibe, but more than some, I guess.
I was about to say, I would say that Nick probably fits in, he fits in more than like say like Tim the Tatman would personally, I would say like, or even like Shroud, or something along those lines. So I would say, it definitely, it was a decent pick in my eyes. If they were looking for like gamers, like straight gamers, I think he fits really well for it, for sure. But yeah, that's it. Like we barreled through that pretty quickly. Let's move into
talk to you later.
yeah, that's the end of the podcast now. But yeah, that's all of that. Let's move into what we've been playing, which we have not been playing a lot. I will let you guys know this right now.
Well, you know why?
It's because Sin's not here with
because Sin's not here. Yeah, with his 8 fucking games, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've been personally playing a little bit more Minecraft. I don't have any footage for it. We
got that 2-week itch.
Yeah, got that itch a little bit, but I know that Bill, you've been playing Lies of P, correct?
Yeah, I finally got into it. I'm about 15-ish hours into it so far. Probably about 2/3 of the way through the game. Very much enjoying it.
More than you expected to? Because I know you
more than I expected to. Yes, I was going into it slightly critical from the demo. The demo was enjoyable, and
I know you had some issues with it prior. We've talked about it in the past.
There were some issues with it. There were some issues with the community. What their expectations were with the game. I ended up making a video kind of covering my frustrations and where I thought the community's head was at with the game. And it does seem like they've kind of leaned into the identity of this, and they've done an extremely good job fleshing that identity out. There's still a few nitpicks that I have with it, but as far as like non From Software Souls likes, this game is impressing me quite a
pretty
bit.
confident one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100% with boss design, level design is actually really good. There's a lot of good stuff here, and there's enough in it to make it stand out from being just a Dark Souls clone. The weapon building system is actually a lot of fun. Anytime I get a new weapon in this game, if you're not familiar, you can take the hilt of your weapons and the blade and like damage
swap
part of
them
your
out
weapon, and you can interchange them.
Yeah,
so you can have like a police baton handle with a giant like meat cleaver axe on the end of it, and it will behave differently. The handles
it's actually pretty dope. I think the last time that we talked about this, I had mentioned that like those kinds of games with like the crafting systems where you can like Fallout 4, right? I personally enjoyed the weapon crafting system in Fallout 4 because of how modular that weapon system was, right? So like games that have that modularity and that customization, I think are they hit the
bill
to
the user experience, right?
Pun intended. They hit the bill for me. Because he's getting hit. You get it.
It's a very light build system. No, you're it's a very light build system, but it
just enough though.
Sounds like it's still enough. Yeah,
and just the fact that you can control your scaling of the weapon. So if you like how the head of a weapon performs, but you don't like the scaling of it, you can just attach it to a different hilt to get different scaling off of it.
That's nice though too for a game like this. Like I don't want a huge in-depth system that I have to sink my teeth in to really grasp, you know, and it's still more than like other Souls games where you just kind of go through upgrading a weapon and maybe the weapon has like an alternate and like blade or whatever, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So it gives you still just enough.
And the blade aspect is where you actually level up. So to level your weapon, you're leveling up the blade part of it, and then the hilts and stuff are completely independent from whatever.
Just like jump in the sky?
Yeah. So the little like arm attachment that you have, you can upgrade those as well, and they get new abilities. So this is the tier 3 of the puppet string, which is the grappling hook.
I didn't know this game had like verticality and shit to it.
Yeah, so you basically hold the grappling hook button and you dash to them, run up them, and then do a big slam on the ground.
That's really cool for a Souls like.
Yeah,
it is pretty cool. Boss design is really good. The feel like it's actually a very decent balance between like dodging and parrying. I thought this was going to be like a 100% parry centered game, but there are some like through looking at the move sets for a lot of things, and I'm probably making it more difficult on myself than I need to be by being as parry centered as I am with it. But it's fairly obvious that there's some attacks they want you to dodge. There's some attacks they want you to parry, and it's mixing and matching and picking which one is better for those situations.
No, the question that I have with you is, do those have like key tells for when it's like, because like some games have like almost like an aura or something like that whenever it's like a parryable attack or a
Or like a
dodgeable
sound.
attack. Yeah. Do they have anything like that on
Mhm.
there?
No. There's a thing for like unblockables and stuff. They'll glow bright
Okay.
red, but there isn't really a queue for any of
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And
It was
So it's
honestly,
kind
just
of
up to
just
you
just kind
of
of
learning
yeah, like
learn it,
muscle
figure it
like
memory,
out, that
error
kind of stuff.
figure it out.
process of
Yeah.
error or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I think is fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think it adds a little bit
I
more
think that's
depth to
what
like
makes
boss
Souls.
fights.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah. The game has a lot more depth than I was expecting from it, which I think is the final takeaway I kind of want to bring up. Um,
Yeah.
with the weapon interchanging system, the upgrades, and the different attachments that you can do for your arm, um, the different uh, the different like stylings that you can do. Like, there's a whole. It's kind of a skill tree system, but not really. It's called the P organ, where you
The
can
P organ.
because the character's name is P. So
Oh god, my
it's his
immaturity just
heart.
peaked
So
right there.
it's an organ. It's
Oh god.
but so it pops up with these like little not nodes and stuff, and there's four different things that you can pick from, and putting abilities into those spots will unlock that node for you. So in the beginning, there's like you can pick from two abilities to go into this spot, and it'll give you like an extra heal, or it'll give you the ability to double dodge, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Pretty substantial things to the game. Um, that added a lot more depth than I was expecting as well, because you can make it so that anytime you kill an enemy, it recharges your arm's resource meter, or you make it so that whenever you do perfect blocks, it makes it so that you build up stagger quicker on enemies or break their weapons quicker.
How have you liked
Pretty
playing it?
subs- huh?
How have you played it? Like how have you chose to use that then?
I'm going fairly offensive. I've kept
Yeah.
my health like about 20 on the levels, and then most of the stuff that I've been going for has been like the parrying, making sure that like I've got one for parrying breaks weapons and staggers quicker, and parrying makes it so that my follow up attacks after I do a perfect parry
Okay.
um, are stronger. And
Yeah.
then there's
That's
another
very
one
cool.
where that I'm going to be getting here soon that'll make it so that as I continue to attack, it's going to make my attacks even stronger there. So they kind of ramp on top of each other. The only nitpick that I really have for the game so far that isn't a skill issue on my end is that they locked. So you guys know what pancaking is, right? In these kinds of games, when an enemy hits you and you
Mm,
like go flat on the ground,
Okay.
right? In
sure.
every other Souls like that's been out there, if you get pancaked and stuff, there is an animation you can do a dodge and it'll roll you off of the ground so that you don't have to go through like the standing up animation, right?
Yeah.
That ability is locked behind the P organ, and not even like an initial section of the P organ. It's about a like quarter to almost a halfway through the game before you're able to unlock the ability
Interesting.
to get up from being grounded, which
Mm.
is extremely frustrating because some of these enemies, a lot more than most Souls games actually, will ground you and then they will wombo combo you like
That was my
100 to 0
yeah,
off the
that was
ground.
I've noticed a lot of enemies in this game don't have stagger. Like they aren't staggered pretty much through your attacks,
Yeah, there's
or
some
some of
enemies
them
that
that
are
I've
tanky,
noticed
and they just kind of like
just take
poise
it.
through it.
Yeah.
So
So that makes it
it's
difficult too.
yeah,
that was
and they also added the Sekiro system where doing like constant parries and constant attacks will build up a hidden uh grogginess meter is what they call it. And then whenever
Yeah.
the health bar of the enemy goes white, you can do a power attack and it will actually knock them down for a visceral. That's a cool little feature too. All in all, really great game. Other than the frustration of getting grounded and 100 to 0'd because I didn't have an ability unlocked, it's great. It's a really good time.
so
Highly recommend it if you enjoy.
is this the first like I'm trying to think, is this the first like Souls like game that is on Game Pass right now?
Potentially.
I
I don't
want
know
to
if Lords of the Fallen is on
say
Game Pass.
Wasn't Mortal
I think
Shell?
Mortal Shell was on
I
Game
thought
Pass.
Mortal
Was
Shell
Mortal Shell? I
was,
didn't think
but
it was. Mortal Shell was
they go through
Mortal Shell was at
locations.
least,
It might not.
It was at least Epic, but
Yeah, Mortal Shell was Epic only, I thought. Either way, do you
Yeah.
think it's a
I thought it was
competence?
timed, but yeah,
do
either
you
way.
think it's a really decent addition to, like, is this a decent addition to Game Pass for like people that are interested in that kind of thing? Because like
100%.
that's my biggest thing is, like, I personally wouldn't probably buy this because I don't play Souls likes really at all.
Yeah.
You know, but like,
And I think
given
that
the fact that
makes
it
even more of a
is
value
on
for
Game Pass, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Given the fact that it is on Game Pass, like, I've been really contemplating downloading it and at least trying it.
Yeah, no, it's
There's no reason not to.
given the fact that it's a Souls-like and the kind of reputation that those games have. This is an awesome opportunity for people to kind of be gatewayed into this genre of game without having to put any monetary investment into it.
Because like it's a full price game, right?
Souls-like?
It's a full price
not.
game, yeah.
No,
No, it's not.
It is.
Wait, to which question are you answering?
No to Scruffy's question.
Okay.
It is
Not
not
beginner friendly.
beginner friendly whatsoever. This is
No.
honestly one of the
It
harder
looks-
Souls-likes out
It looks
there.
harder. Yeah.
Yeah, the parry windows are very small. Dodging frames are very small. It is not an easy Souls like. I would say
Okay.
it's harder than I would say in some instances it is harder than the From Software Souls games.
Oh,
in some instances.
that's not a good not good
That's-
signs, because I have a very high skill issue of, like, I have no skill in these types of games. So maybe I won't play.
Harder than Elden
But
Ring?
back to
'Cause-
what you were saying. Let me see what price point it is. I don't. No, it's $59.99. So
Okay.
it's not a $70 price tag.
Well, yeah.
Still a high price tag, but
high price tag, yeah.
So what what Scruffy was saying, like, what would you say, like, between this and Elden Ring, would you say this is harder than Elden Ring?
yeah, I think Elden Ring is one of the easier games
Okay.
From Software has put out. Personally,
Ooh, might
but
be a little rough for me then.
it's just because of the emphasis on the blocking and parry system.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest learning curve. And if you can figure that out and get it to click, you'll probably have a pretty good time with it.
All right.
the
You should
game
have
is
some
a lot of
build
fun. It is
opportunity in
extremely
this,
well done.
though. So you
Very
might
true.
be able to build in a certain way to
True.
go with.
I think that would be the
I don't
only
know.
saving grace for me, would be like the draw of it to that customization system. So, but yeah. So
right.
Liza P, really good game according to Bill,
Yeah,
and he's kind of our Souls expert.
Got my stamp of approval. Highly recommend it. For
That is
anybody
that is a hard thing to do when it comes to Souls games with Bill. He does not give that thing out
There's
willy
a
nilly.
lot of really
Is it critical
Souls
Souls?
likes. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even try Wulong just because it didn't
Wow.
look like
That
something
game came
would've
out?
been
Wait,
fun.
Wulong was on Xbox Game Pass, was it not? I think it was.
I thought it was.
I thought it was
didn't even
too.
know that game came out, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Anyways,
I guess
so
that
yeah,
says something about that. Yeah.
Billy the Squid approved. He got the stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at possibly checking it out, like, again, it's on Game Pass. If you have access to Game Pass, if you are a PC player or if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, there is literally no reason why you should not check it out if you're a Soulsborne fan or a Souls-like fan, right? So
Right.
check it out. If not,
Yep.
if you're not a Souls-like fan, maybe not the easiest. Maybe don't check it out. So.
Yeah.
You know now.
All right,
You know
that's all we got for games as far as I know. Scruffy, you haven't been playing any sneaky mobile games, right?
Wait. Yeah, no. I've been playing a stupid mobile game that I've been playing since I was like a kid. It's not a gacha. It's literally just like, you guys know Farmville?
I was legitimately saying that as a joke. I really didn't mean to call you.
I know. No, it's fine. If you know Farmville, I've just been playing the pretty much equivalent of that, but with dragons. It's called Dragonville. I don't know why I'm playing it, but I am.
Okay.
It's a game I played since I was like 10.
Scruffy's turned into a mobile gamer.
Hey man, I got to get that iPhone 15 so I can really boost my game up,
Boost your
All
game
right.
up, indeed. Speaking of boosting your game up, I guess that's a terrible segue. That's a sin segue right there, man. apparently, so this is one thing that caught my attention kind of right off the bat whenever I noticed it, and I know me and Bill are probably going to have a little bit of a tit for tat on this one because I think I've got different opinions. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
We'll see how
we'll
it
see.
goes.
The new PS5's optional disc drive, not dick drive. I about said dick drive.
Wow.
Disc drive.
Okay. Now I'm interested in
That's
this.
an entirely different drive for you.
PS5 at this point.
Yeah.
The PS5's optional disc drive requires an internet connection to connect, which I found to be very interesting, considering we were literally just on a tangent the other week about PlayStation being like the saviors of
so what are you gonna do
physical
if you
copies,
just want to play
right?
like some Red Dead Online or Red Dead Redemption, like just like a single player game?
From what I can understand, and correct me if I'm wrong on here, Bill. From what I understand, it's just the first initial setup. Yeah. So like if you're plugging it in and you just barely bought it, it requires an authentication the first time you plug it in. So that is a saving grace for it. But on the other hand, I'm looking at it like, why the fuck? Why the fuck does a disk drive need that? There shouldn't be a requirement for that. That seems really weird.
If it's like an update or something, or
that's my thoughts, because the controllers come with updates as well that require internet connection. It's something that I feel like they're not going to ship the consoles with that hard drive space occupied that would be needed to run the disk drive. So they probably need to download the software to properly run the disk drive. They need to authenticate it, like you were saying, and all that should be a one and done situation.
It's just so weird, man.
This is not the. You don't have to do anything if you buy the PS5.
So my question though,
drive already installed.
So my question though is like, okay, like 5-6 years down the road, right? It's maybe longer, right? Whenever they stop support for the PlayStation 5, right? Your little Timmy, your little Timmy in the year 2031, his parents are the Jetsons and they just bought him some retro PS5, right? And they're like, okay, little Timmy, go and fucking play God of War, 5 or whatever on the PlayStation, What happens if like down the road, you buy one of those and it hasn't been verified, right? The PlayStation 5 has not verified that disk drive, but they've shut down the systems to verify that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a big if, but I mean, I don't know.
There's still a physical console available. If you have any inklings of wanting a disk drive, just get the physical console, because it's going to be cheaper for you in the long run than getting the digital and then being like, oh, well, I really did want that disk drive. Let me just pay extra money.
I agree with you on the part, and I agree with Sin on the part where it's like, if you're worried about physical media, just buy a regular PlayStation 5. But the fact of the matter is that, like, again, if we're like 10 years down the road and that's all you can find, right? Obviously you're going to be able to find those kinds of things, I'm sure, from everywhere. But like, if that is all you can find, you're done. Like there's nothing you can do about that, right? Like there's no way that you can get that if they shut down those servers. And we've talked about this in the past, where it's like,
are you like foreseeing the future of like console apocalypse or something?
Maybe,
like,
man.
What is happening
you never know, man. I'm getting my Nostradamus on, I'm channeling my inner Simpson episodes,
Enigma is secretly a Mayan, I think, and he's got the sundial out.
My mindset on it all is, if you were dumb enough to buy and I am saying dumb because I think this is idiotic that you would buy a digital console right now.
Yeah.
If you were dumb enough to buy the digital only console and expect support for that console to stay forever, that's on you, and you deserve whatever shortcomings come of that. Get the disc drive version.
No, I agree.
Any concerns over digital like lifespan? That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
if you're concerned that things are going to shut down, if you're concerned that you're not going to have access to the disk drive software or your gaming library, get physical. Buy it that way.
Get physical. Yeah.
Physical.
So is getting real.
The other thing that I saw on here, and I was literally just reading about this, and this didn't come to mind either, is like, okay, there people are thinking this might also be a security measure in order to ensure that the disc is a legitimate one, not a third party one as well. What do you think about that? Do you think that's possible?
It very well could be, and it wouldn't
that wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all from Sony, which is just kind of one of those things where it's like that feels like an asinine thing to me, and really an asshole move to me if that's the case too, because like you shouldn't offer the ability for module stuff like that and then take it away or lock it behind.
Not allow third party developers
do what fucking Apple does, right? Like Apple is notorious for that kind of bullshit when it comes to this kind of stuff, right?
Sony is kind of the Apple.
Sony is too. Yeah.
I wonder how far Sony's going to take these like detachable parts and whatnot with PlayStations. Like eventually we're just going to
maybe there will be a disk drive later on, bro. You never know. Detachable disk drives.
Maybe, bro.
One thing that is being brought up in the chat though, and I don't know if we covered it 100%, with the slim models being announced and stuff.
I don't think we did.
What are your guys' opinions on these slim models in general? Like, do you think this is like good? I know PlayStation has always done a slim variant of their consoles moving forward, but the PS5 and like this generation of console
what's
been
the
a lot slower paced as far as
what's the price gap on the slim and the normal?
I don't think there's a ton, is there? I thought it was pretty close to the same price.
I thought it was pretty close.
Well, we covered it last week, right? And I know that Sin said that he really liked the slim, but I'm curious if that was more along the lines of like he liked the look of it. To me, like it felt like it was not. They are the same price.
So the PS5 is $500.
Yeah,
like for the physical normal PS5.
And then I think the slim is $499.
From what Sin is saying.
Yeah, right. I think the slim is $499. So
$500.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. My opinion on it.
I've got a PS5. I'm not upgrading to a slim. I'm going to wait for the Pro to come out.
That's what I was going to say. Is my opinion on it is if you have a PS5. There is literally no reason to buy a PS5 Slim other than that you want the different look, right? Like that would be the only reason to go with it, and that's a dumb reason why you would pay $500 for less plastic. That makes no fucking sense to me.
But I will say, I mean, the normal PlayStation 5 is a chunky mother.
It is
a big boy.
But on the other hand, I have to wonder if having that big of a case is actually better for you for cooling.
Very well could be. I mean, we haven't really seen these come out yet and see really how well they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that some PlayStations have had overheating problems. Yeah.
So Sony's very notorious for that. So that could be something that happens. I don't know.
That's my opinion on it. It's like if you already have it,
under your guys' opinion too. Again,
if you already have it, there's no reason for it.
There's no differences in the specs, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much
other than one doesn't have
what you're getting.
One doesn't have a physical drive that you know.
The only difference is the hard drive space is a little bit bigger on these slim models.
Which is understandable.
They upgraded the hard
you're
drive
not going to
space.
buy a whole new console. You would just expand your hard drive space.
So I'm curious if that affects. Does it still have the SSD that Sony's always fucking around with? Okay.
It better.
It has all the tech that the base PS5 has.
So yeah, that's. I think I'm going to stick with that opinion. Is like if you already have it, there's no reason to buy it. But if you don't,
I don't know.
Might be a good idea to grab it.
It might be just for that extra space.
If you're looking to get a PlayStation 5, I should say, right? Like if you're looking to get a PlayStation 5 and that is the decision that you have to choose between, maybe again going back to the physical the physical arguments that we had just barely, or the physical discussion that we had, like maybe look at the fact that if you have a problem with physical versus digital and then base your decisions off of that, probably if you like physical discs, maybe go with the regular, because then you don't have to deal with the bullshit with the online updates.
Just know what you're getting. Just know what you're getting. Like if you don't want physical at all, then get it without.
If you want to license all of your games, just go digital and then cry whenever they take them away from you.
Yeah.
And speaking of crying from Sony, we have somebody leaving Sony, and I'm sure she was crying about it the entire way she was out.
Yeah, because I think she got kicked.
Because she got fired. Yeah, PlayStation's top exec was fired due to a focus on live service games, apparently. I think you posted this.
On a focus?
Yeah, I feel like so it's Connie Booth. She's
Connie
been
Booth,
with
yeah,
PlayStation Gaming for 9 years, I think. Um, maybe longer. I can't remember exactly how
maybe
long
longer.
she's
Yeah, I'm not
served,
sure.
but she basically got scapegoated with the direction that a lot of
Well,
Sony games
and
were
Jim,
wanting to go with the games as a service
yeah,
model, which was something that Jim
that's
Ryan
what I was about to say.
was
One thing,
he
one thing
was
that
the
I want to point
catalyst
out is,
factor
yeah,
for that.
Jim Ryan was the original one pushing for games as a service. Like he was the one that was like, that
Yeah.
needs to be our direction as PlayStation and as Sony moving forward, because that's going to be the one thing that makes us the most money essentially. And none of the developers were out for it. Like nobody wanted that
Right.
really, which
No,
is
nobody
crazy to
wanted
me.
it. And people were upset that games that they were working on that they were passionate about were getting canceled for these games as a service projects, like the Last of Us
The Last of Us
factions.
factions, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of people in Sony Studios were upset that that got canceled for other projects.
Yeah. Well, that
That
didn't even
they
just
didn't
get
really.
canceled. That whole department shut down.
Yeah, so
So
it's an interesting thing. Connie Booth, head of internal production, so she was overseeing Sony Studios production. It makes sense why she got scapegoated into this, but as far as I know, she was kind of a like pushing back a little bit against the games as a service model whenever Jim Ryan first introduced it to begin with. I genuinely
Interesting.
feel bad for her, and I
yeah.
was watching that in like not interview, but that like little podcast thing that oh what's his name? The dude that kind of leaked all of this stuff.
Dave Jaffe,
He
right?
Yeah, Dave
David
Jaffe,
Jaffe.
ex Sony developer.
Was he the
He
developer for God of War? Wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was on the God of War team. Yeah, um, he feels like they shysted her real bad, and
I
he
don't
was
doubt it.
honestly calling for Phil Spencer to reach out to Connie Booth and give her a position.
I mean, honestly,
That'd be
if
awesome.
because he feels she was fired unjustly
that would
for
be such a fucking
sinning-
power move, though, dude. Like,
That would
yeah,
be
sins of the
awesome.
father.
Yeah.
come on over. We got a fucking spot for you over here.
Yeah,
That would be crazy,
yeah.
man.
So
Yeah.
it's a weird spot to be with both Jim Ryan and Connie Booth, two long term people on the exit, and this makes me feel like Jim Ryan was ousted. Like more
No,
so than we
100%.
already
Yeah,
assumed that Jim
Right.
Ryan was ousted.
I think that
This makes me
Jim,
feel like Jim Ryan is
yeah,
ousted.
They're pushing people out. They're weeding them out.
Jim was not given an option. I don't think it was, you're leaving
No.
intentionally, or like you're leaving on your own, or we're having you removed essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that's been my
hopefully we
opinion
see
for a
this-
long time. So
Yeah, hopefully we see this as a positive move for Sony Studios. If they are cutting the fat from the games as a service projects, um, I would like to think they will go back to what Sony does best, which is single player
Their first title,
experiences.
single player
Experiences,
games.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
mean,
then just let Bungie do.
honestly, they need to.
Bungie
Like,
is the only studio you really need to have on games as a service.
for
Like
true.
maybe one other one if
Well,
you
and
really want to go that route.
Wasn't it
But
recently they were
Bungie
saying
was
something
the whole
about
reason. Yeah,
Oh,
the whole reason
what?
they hired Bungie was for
Yeah,
the games
Bungie
as
was
a
the
service
catalyst for the
direction.
games as a service catalyst,
Yeah.
or direction. But honestly, like I feel like Bungie needs to pull it back on that games as a service a little bit as well. Like I feel like they've gone too far, right? Like I feel like as Sony, as an acquisition for Sony, if I'm looking at that and I'm looking at all of our developers going, hey, we don't want games as a service. Hey, we don't want games as a service. Your player base is saying, hey, we don't like games as a service. We don't like games as a service, right? Would it not be the correct thing and the smartest thing to be like, okay, obviously these people are having a bit of an issue with it. We just acquired Bungie and they're notorious for having terrible games as a service aspects in their games. Like let's dial that back just a little bit. Maybe make a little bit more money off of like the games. Like, yeah, we're not going to make as much money because we're losing a little bit of that games as a service aspect from the games, right? But like if your player base is happier with the game and your developers are happier, right? You're going to make a better game. You're going to make a better quality game. You're going to make more. Yeah. You're going to make more money off of that game because people are more willing to spend the money on it. You know, it just, I don't know. It feels like Bungie has been progressively
get
going
silenced,
downhill.
bro.
I will probably. I'm gonna get fired. Yeah, I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Bungie does with the new project that they're working on. That old game brought new Marathon. I'm excited to see what the Marathon project ends up turning into, because that's kind
I'm
of
curious, man, because like
their
that's such a weird one.
Project after Destiny.
Wait, what is the Marathon project?
Marathon is that old IP from
Royale.
Bungie. Yeah.
Oh,
we talked about a while ago.
Extraction shooter type.
I forgot about that. Totally. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm really concerned that that's not going to turn out the way that everybody wants it to turn out, but that's just my opinion, just because of Bungie.
I hope for the best, but I'm prepped for the worst.
We'll see.
But that's with Sony Studios overall, because it does seem like they're kind of imploding a little bit, at least away from that current model that they were working on. I'm hoping this is going to be changed for the best, but
I feel like they are definitely doing some forceful reorganization. And speaking of reorganization, Microsoft is also doing some reorganization, if you haven't heard. Apparently we're getting a new president and a new president of gaming content from the creators of Xbox and the Lord and Savior Phil Spencer. If you guys did not hear, this is going to be your new director of gaming. His name is Matt Booty. His name is actually Matt Booty.
Mm-hmm.
Say that with me again. Matt Booty.
Matt Booty.
So this is the guy that's going to be, all of our game development teams are going to be directly answering to, essentially. And one thing that really made me happy to hear about this is the fact that like they've already come out and said that he will be leading and expanding the organizations inside of Microsoft Gaming, and that includes ZeniMax and Bethesda. On top of that, I saw a report basically stating that with the recent failure from Redfall, they will no longer be allowing ZeniMax and Bethesda to have as much of a longer leash as they did, right?
So they are tightening them up.
They will be directly responsible. Matt Booty will be directly responsible for overseeing every project that comes out of ZeniMax and Bethesda. So that is huge. Yeah, that is huge to me. So that is a really good thing in my eyes.
They got Bobby Kotick on the chain of command here.
They did
until his exit.
Until his exit.
I just
be sure to put that. Up until his exit.
That's funny.
Sir,
I just seen that.
Unfortunately. So, but then we also have a new president. Sarah Bond is our new president for Microsoft. I've not really heard a whole lot about her.
President, right?
She is the president.
I have no clue.
President.
She's the president over Xbox. Yep.
Oh,
Phil Spencer is the CEO, not the president.
Yeah. No, I know. Matt Booty, I thought was the president, and
Matt Booty is the president over gaming and gaming content and studios. So she's the president directly over Xbox. Matt Booty is the president.
I'm just going off the image here. It's saying corporate vice president of human resources.
I don't know what image you're looking at. I'm looking at this one right here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sarah Bond, president Xbox.
Sarah Bond, right there. I know it's a little pixelated, but
okay, I see now. Yeah.
So that's the one that I'm going off of right there. Yeah. I've not heard a lot about Sarah Bond.
Yeah, we'll see how she does.
I'm trying to see if there's anything that they say about her. Spencer's memo speaks more of this expansive organization. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, there's not really much going on in here. So I've never heard of her before. Hopefully she'll do a good job. I don't think that their old president
for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think their old president was doing that bad. I don't remember who that was, but I guess I guess they weren't doing anything good or bad if we don't really know their name. So that's interesting. I do want to see Bobby off that list as soon as fucking possible.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that I want to see at all. Bobby needs to leave and never rear his ugly head again. Sorry, Bobby. Bye, Bobby. Have a good day. Bye, Bobby. Have a good day. Anyways, one I don't have a good segue for this. one ugly head that I saw was in VR. And speaking of VR, Steam VR 2.0 is out and improving their storefront UI for headsets.
They got some ugly heads.
Yeah. That was a good one.
That's all right.
That was a sin one as well.
Stretching.
That was a sin segue as well. Anyways, yeah, just this one kind of interested me a little bit. I know that you guys don't have the VR headsets like myself and Sin do, but like if you guys have fuck you Sinan. If you want to bitch about my segues, you need to be on the fucking podcast. Quit being sick. If you guys don't have a headset though, like a VR headset, like the Quest or anything like that, and you've never like dealt with the Steam VR UI and everything like that, it is amazingly janky, like amazingly terribly janky. It's really bad. So I'm quite excited to hear about this, just as kind of hopefully it's a decent one.
Big Picture, or
it does run off of Big Picture. It runs off of Steam VR, but it's a Big Picture like alternative. It's kind of UI, it's kind of like the Steam Deck. Steam Deck technically runs off of Steam OS, which is or whatever their OS, their proprietary OS is, but it also runs like whenever you open it, it runs a Big Picture mode essentially. So that's kind of the general consensus behind it. But yeah, apparently they're updating the UI for Steam VR 2.0 and supposed to have improvements all across the board, better responsiveness, everything. So better storefront interface, more highlights for VR games, all the good stuff. All the good stuff, and
just improvements for VR.
Hopefully it's good. I haven't personally gotten my headset out in a long time, which I need to. I'm actually contemplating selling my old one and buying the next version, the Quest 3. But I'm not sure if I want to do that.
I hope by the time that I finally get into VR, that we'll be in Ready Player One world.
We'll be in full dive. That would be nice.
Yeah,
it would be cool.
That'd be nice.
Would be dope. I don't have a segue for that though, so we're just gonna go into it after.
Segue.
After 3 years, this is what I was talking about earlier. I should have probably talked about this before. After 3 years of hands-off management, Microsoft is making Bethesda and ZeniMax report directly to an Xbox bigwig, which we just barely talked about. Mad Booty is going to be ZeniMax and Bethesda's direct correspondent. So,
okay,
right.
Hopefully, we won't have more issues and more games like Redfall. Although I have heard that the update, and I still need to go back and fucking play it. I need to remember to do that. I have heard that the recent update that they brought out is where they brought the 60 FPS. They did a bunch of bug fixes, everything like that. I have heard that it has made the game a somewhat enjoyable, if not more playable.
You're saying they brought their player base from 2 up to maybe like 4
probably.
Or 5?
Yeah, like 10 max. Yeah, probably. But which is sad, man, because like the game was really actually not that bad.
In theory, it could have been a really good game.
It could have been.
But
yeah. I'm still holding out hope the hope that ZeniMax and Bethesda are still like of the mindset of like we need to fix this. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's too late.
Sarah Bond, yep.
I looked up a little bit of stuff on her. She's been with the company since 2017.
Okay.
And her most notable stuff recently is she was one of the big mouthpieses during the FTC trial. So
that's where I've heard her name from. Oh, she was the she was the one that was talking directly to the
yeah.
For that. Okay, that's where
I remember all that now.
In video games and stuff like that.
I remember that.
Explaining in layman's terms what Xbox was about and stuff like that. So that going well most likely catapulted her to where she's
I don't doubt it.
Makes sense now. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So again, we have a kind of a conflict of me not arranging these correctly. This was supposed to come right after the Valve VR headsets. Speaking of Valve is dropping local currency support for Turkey and Argentina. And you might think, weird. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why. Well, it's because people are taking advantage of the fact that their exchange rate is entirely like ass. And they're basically using VPNs to show themselves in Turkey and Argentina and buy games, like full price games, for like deeply, deeply discounted prices.
Wow.
So
Okay.
That's
a
very
weird
interesting.
one. Yeah, it's.
So what are the Turkey and Argentinian people going to do?
I
about
do not
that?
know. I'm not entirely sure. It's
They're
definitely
gonna
a
have to
weird one.
VPN. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
see,
That's weird.
they're
US
just
dollar.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
just they're
Okay.
the volatility of the exchange rate for the Argentina and Turkey. I think they have I think they're pesos. Yes, I think no, that's maybe Argentina. I don't know. Either way,
Argentina's pesos and Turkey is lira.
lira. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, one of them has to be pesos. Like it has to be. But yeah, the exchange rate is just terrible for them. You can see the ARS versus USD chart right here. Huge declines.
Wow.
The Turkey one's not as bad, but they've definitely taken a hit, and I'm assuming that's possibly because of the war over there. I don't know if they have anything to do with the Russia Ukraine war, but it's possible. It is possible, or even the new Hamas stuff that's been going on, but. We won't get too far into that. But yeah, so Valve's just basically taking a stance on it and just basically saying, hey, because of these situations that have been happening, Steam users are kind of going in there and they're
That
kind of
sucks.
finding a way around it. Yeah, I don't know if they're completely shutting it down for Turkey and Argentina, but it looks like they're dropping local currency.
I wonder if they'll tighten up VMP or VPN.
I don't really know how they would do that. Yeah, I don't really know how they would do that.
But
unfortunately,
that's a very interesting exploit that people have come across.
The worst part is like the way that they can fix it would just be make everything the same price, but that's going to screw over people in some of these regions because like Oz, like Australia, yeah, Australia fucking video games are already an abysmal price. I think for a base video game is like I was about to say I think a base game is like $120 over there.
It's definitely up there,
or was at least. So it sucks. It does kind of sucks. See, once again, should have probably put this when we were talking about Xbox. On the upside of gaming, Phil Spencer wants to see classic FPS Hexen return, and the System Shock remake devs are completely game to do that, which I think would be great. System Shock was a great game, and Hexen is one of my favorite. I think you guys might be a little bit too young for Hexen, but did either of you play Hexen?
I didn't play, but I know of. Yeah,
I know about System Shock. I don't know about Hexen.
System Shock. It was good. So myself and Sin are probably the only two that have played Hexen. Hexen was an old first person shooter that kind of followed the same aspects of like Doom, but it was all about like occultism and like ghosts and shit. Hexen was great. Hexen was amazing.
I had mentioned Hexen when I showcased that demo of Cultic. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yep.
It was very Hexen
similar
vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
so,
Hexen,
that's cool. If it get remastered, remade, that would be really cool.
Hexen coming back would be amazing for me. I spent way too many hours wasted. I shouldn't say wasted. Enjoyed on Hexen. You know what?
I think if they bring Hexen back, they maybe just remaster it. But I think they should do a Doom style revamp. Give it a big like a big IP like Doom Eternal.
I don't know. I don't think I personally don't think Hexen would do well in the new Doom, like the hard like metal like that kind of shit. You know?
I don't know. I think it would be really cool, but
it would be cool. I don't think it would fit the Hexen. It would be an entirely different. Like if
I'm not saying like the super hyper like grapple swing craziness, but give it the fidelity and all of that. That realism that Doom has, But
it would be cool. It would be really cool. I would definitely enjoy a more 3D-esque for sure instead of going like the 2D route where they keep kind of that.
Yeah,
it would be kind of cool to have like an arena shooter.
Let's give it some big new gen upgrades.
Would be really, really dope. Would be dope. We're gonna be so early to end tonight, guys. I thought we had enough to cover everything.
I thought we honestly same, but
it's crazy. But anyways, so with that being said, that's the starting screen. We want to go back to the main podcast just to cover a couple of quick hits, and we might be able to spend some time, a little bit more time on these quick hits. We do have that information on your. Did you post those two things in the
it's
chat?
in the docs.
Okay.
You want me to post it?
It's entertain them while I pull that up.
Yeah, sure. If we're going right into the next one being Battlefield 2042, I just wanted to
do the Battlefield one.
I just wanted to bring it up quickly and give it some light, shed some light on Battlefield 2042, because we're in that time of the Battlefield life cycle where we're coming back and we're looking, being like, hey, 2042 might not be such a bad game. Just like people had, gripes with Battlefield, I think 5, and then year after that release, like they went back to that. So it's just the Battlefield cycle. They recently had their free-to-play weekend at the same time, too, as the Modern Warfare 3 beta weekend. So thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, like the Modern Warfare 3 beta did not go off very well. So
I don't know. I've heard a lot of mixed stuff on it. But either way, so they did their free weekend, same time as Modern Warfare 3 beta weekend, and they broke their own peak player base since launch. Yeah, concurrent players. I don't remember what it was before. I don't know if it says here.
Wait, was it concurrent or peak players that they broke?
Peak and concurrent. All time and concurrent. Yeah. Before I think before it was like 101,000 or something when the game launched, and they broke it at 107,000.
Nice.
And that's really good for Battlefield.
For Battlefield. Battlefield's been out for what, 2 years now? I want to say
it's been out for like 2 years or so.
Two and a half.
I'd say 2021. I feel like we got it.
I feel like we grabbed it around there.
And this also, I think, was the launch of their newest season 2, season 6. Protocol, I believe, is the
I saw something
title.
About Protocol.
And it just
had a weird
like AI
it seems like they're going down like a robot or like a cyberpunk-esque route. It was kind of interesting.
It's kind of a cool season because they also obviously it launched right in the middle of October too, so they went with like kind of more spookier routes, kind of more just dark, like robot vibes and stuff.
Speaking of spooky, we need to do some spooky games whenever Sin isn't dying from whatever the fuck he picked up from the doorknobs of the convention.
We need to play fucking Baldur's.
We do need to play Baldur's Gate still.
Jesus. But all it was, I just wanted to kind of showcase it again because that is just the Battlefield life cycle.
We were talking about it. We were talking about it just barely. Like it feels like like Battlefield. At least with Battlefield, which one was it that they went back into like the Battlefield 1940? It was a Battlefield 1. Yeah,
1 and Battlefield 5.
I feel like Battlefield 1 or whichever one it was, like they both released with like really, really, really bad reviews, and same with 2042, right? They released really, really bad reviews,
the worst. People
terrible situations, really bad bugs, everything like that. And then like every time Battlefield comes out with something like this, they always it's just like a redemption story, like 3, 4, 5 years later, and then it turns into one of the better games. Like it turns into one of the better shooters. So
through all of their past 5, 6 seasons now, they've just progressively made the game a really fluent shooter, and it's in a really good state. Just feels really nice. Their new map, I have some gripes with. I played it. It's very sided. Not a big fan. There's a lot of choke points that just you can't get through if you're on one side. So other than that, though, good additions on Battlefield.
Do you think?
So
do you think this is a breaking point for Battlefield where possibly it might pull people from BattleBit a little bit? I know BattleBit's been doing really well recently.
BattleBit also has been doing really well. I think they both live side by side, but I think you'll see it definitely will pull some people back. But I don't know. I think both games are like games like, what do I want to play today? Like want to go more realistic.
Well, I want to say BattleBit's been
Battlefield
losing a player base, but I think that's normal for those types of games. Honestly,
I was gonna say BattleBit is going to hold its true player base, but it's not going to be for everyone long term. It's not that game.
No, people don't like the blockiness of it, the pixels. And all that.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna depend day by day on whether or not somebody's gonna choose Battlefield 2042 over BattleBit. Just if you want something more fuck around with and relax, go BattleBit. But if you want something a little bit more serious, more realistic, go Battlefield.
Speaking of Minecrafty stylings. Another thing that you brought up, apparently Minecraft is doing a Star Wars DLC.
DLC?
I've never heard of Minecraft doing a DLC, bro. Like, what is that?
I also saw this. I'm like, what is this? I don't know. Still, to be honest, if this is a DLC in their
story mode game.
The what?
Is it Minecraft story mode?
No, I don't know what that is.
It might honestly. It might be
story mode.
Story mode is like the Telltale. You remember they released like the Telltale version of Minecraft, and it was like it was like Telltale's Walking Dead, but for Minecraft. I don't know if you remember that or not.
It's released a while ago. I kind of
that's what I was kind of thinking as well. Was like vaguely. just looking at like the fidelity and like the graphics of this. This is not Minecraft, obviously. It looks more like
it's not, but it also doesn't look like a Telltale game to me. I don't know.
Well, it's not the Telltale. It's not that it's a Telltale game. It's that it's a Telltale-esque game. When the story mode was like a Telltale game where you had like decisions that you had to make when it came to like like those types of things. So
it very well could be, because I was very confused at a Minecraft DLC too. I thought it might have been like their Bedrock version or whatever, because their Bedrock version
DLC game
strays.
Which makes me think that it's a spin-off game.
It could just
I don't understand why they would label it DLC though. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they should just name it
because it's from the Minecraft marketplace.
It's from the Minecraft.
I don't know. Either way, I think it looks really cool.
It does look cool.
Looking at this,
I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of it was a surprise to me when you posted. I think you posted this a couple weeks ago too, didn't you? Like 2 or 3 weeks
ago. Like a week ago. Yeah.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, but like Minecraft's already done Star Wars mods. Like I can go literally download a StarCraft mod, and it probably is pretty dope. But yeah, having something from Mojang, I don't know how well that would be, but it was a surprise to me that Lucasfilms was doing something with them. But then again, it's not really a surprise because
nobody was really expecting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not really a shocker because Lucasfilms has released the ability for other people, the rights to be able to create those. EA is no longer the sole ownership of Star Wars rights to create games on it. So that's I'm really happy to see that we're starting to see more content from Star Wars, because prior to that, like, we really didn't have anything. Like, we had a game every like 7 to 12 years. It was ridiculous. It was something stupid. Yeah. So
I'm really hoping this is more like Lego Star Wars, though. I think if it's something like that, I imagine
it probably will be. It says right here that players will be able to play as a Padawan, customize their own droids, build a lightsaber as they go on various missions throughout the Clone Wars era galaxy, which that's kind of cool to me as well, because like not a lot of games explore the Clone Wars.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of an interesting little spin. And Minecraft, honestly, like Minecraft and Lego are probably some of the better franchises for Star Wars, honestly, in my opinion, at least. Just because of how easy it is to, I wouldn't say easy, but how accessible it is, I guess, for people to get into. So
yeah, definitely
interesting.
Cool.
Definitely an interesting
just thought
situation.
I'd share that.
I'm looking forward to seeing more from Star Wars in general. I really hope that
since I've
been really hoping that we would see some stuff from like another Jedi Outcast, or another not Jedi Outcast, I can't remember what the fucking name of it was now. Whatever it was, one of the old ones. I hope we start seeing some like remakes and shit from that. So I'm struggling. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna go back to the main
You're good.
podcast.
No, man, you're all right.
Oh shit.
I got one that I'm dropping into the docs that we can kind of discuss since we have time for it, that I was just
where it at, bro?
finding.
Where
I'm
it
working
at, bro?
on it.
Where it
Do you
at,
have
bro?
something else do you have something else
Yeah,
to go?
I got places to be, bro. You got people to see.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
oh,
Boom.
dang.
And shit, I gotta do the fucking hotkey.
You gotta
There.
you gotta
Okay,
enter
we got it.
boom.
There you
All
go.
right, it's below quick hits.
Okay, I see it. We're going off on the fly right now, guys. We're doing this live right now.
Yeah, man.
Where is that? No, I
So
went to the wrong.
this is kind of neat. And this is the first instance I know of this actually happening. Alan Wake 2 just came out, if you're not familiar. Pretty decent.
Oh, did it just
horror
come out? I didn't know
franchise.
that.
Pretty rave
Yeah.
reviews too right now.
Or it'll be coming out, one of the two.
Critic reviews are up.
Yeah, it seems like people are very much enjoying it.
Yeah.
And apparently the developers are enjoying it so much that they actually went and made it so that the PC version of Alan Wake 2, if you have a PS5 DualShock 5 controller, the haptic feedback is fully functional on the PC version of the game when that controller is plugged in.
Is that the first game for haptic feedback to be functional? I've not heard of other games. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I've not heard of any other games on PC.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any other games doing it either.
To utilize the haptics.
It's interesting that the work that they put into the PS5 version is directly translating into the PC version, as long as you have the hardware to support it. I think that's genuinely really cool, and it gives me hope that the haptic feedbacks of the PS5 controller aren't just a gimmick that's going to be forgotten, like a lot of controller features are, and that people will continue to heavily support.
Well, it makes sense because
especially for these kinds of games. Like, I understand turning haptics off for multiplayer games and whatnot, but for games that you want to immerse yourself in, haptic feedback is fucking dope. Like, this controller is so cool at immersing you into a game space, and I'm glad the PC players, if they choose to buy a Sony controller.
Weird, kind of off the topic question though with the controllers. Is their speakers any better on those things? Because
this one is way better than what the PS4's speaker was.
I remember thinking it was so cool that they were integrating like some immersion into like actual like ambient sounds coming out of the controllers and whatnot. But they sounded so shit that it just broke that completely for me.
Nah, this controller has a lot better of a speaker on it, so you'll be pleasantly surprised. Again, you need to own a PS5 controller to be able to make use of this, but I just think it's really neat. And bravo to the devs for spreading the work that they put into the PS5 version of the game to the PC version. So
it honestly makes sense. Like, I don't understand why it doesn't work in those other games that actually have it in there, because like it's just a code being sent to the controller, I would imagine, to pop the haptics on.
I mean, Steam should be doing all the heavy lifting in that regard. It's just approving the support from the development side of it.
True.
I don't know if it's easier for them to port the Xbox version to PC in those third-party cases, but as far as like Sony games going directly to Steam, there's no fucking excuse.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I hope that Xbox gets a strong haptic controller.
Do you think they will? Yeah.
I think with the Pro generation or whatever their like upgrade version of the Xbox Series X is going to be, there's a potential that they could bring a haptic controller with it.
It would be cool.
I would like to think they would. Yeah. I don't know what Sony's patents are with their haptics, but I can't imagine it preventing Xbox from doing a haptic controller
doing something of their own. Yeah. It would be cool. I think it would be a step forward for Xbox, because I don't know, maybe this is a controversial take. I don't personally, and maybe I'm wrong about this because maybe these new controllers with the haptics are a little bit bigger. I can't stand PlayStation controllers. They're way too fucking small for me.
They are. These controllers are bigger. I would happily concede that the Xbox controllers were the prime gaming controller for the longest time.
That was my biggest issue, is like the Xbox controller, for me at least, and I don't play with a ton of controllers, but that one was just big enough for my big old gorilla fucking hands, right? And it didn't feel like I was like dwarfed into like very preciously pushing the buttons, you know.
Yeah. No,
honestly, PS4 controller is my favorite.
It's the first PlayStation controller that I feel like appropriately competes with Xbox controllers.
Very nice. Very cool. I know you have had a lot of good things to say about it, and I've heard a lot of good things to say about the haptics controller as well. So it's
the problem with it is the battery life, and the more haptics
I have heard that,
the shorter that life
is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends, I guess. So
like,
but anyways,
I've heard for Alan Wake 2, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hour battery life on the controller, which is shit.
That is rough, dude. That is
that's not long at all.
That is not great. That is not great at all.
No.
Oh goodness. Anyways, moving into quick hits. We're gonna be done really early, guys. I apologize about that. I thought that we had enough content to go through the entire fucking podcast, but
well, you know why we're early again, guys. We don't have 8 games to look at.
This is true. This is true. We don't have Sin over here with his 12 games on a fucking weekly basis, you know. One thing I did want to do quick hits though, as you guys know, and if you guys have any questions, throw them in chat right now. Obviously, when it comes down to interaction and everything like that, that's the best part about the live show. If you guys are listening to this on the the non-live show over on Spotify or Anchor or any podcast that you can get a hold of, anything like that, come join us live. We have a really great live feed. We interact with our chat as much as we can, and the best part about it is you guys can ask questions and we will do our best to answer them at the end of the podcast. So make sure you do that. Also make sure you guys go and check out our podcast over on anchor.fm//pre-patch podcast, I should say. You can also find it, as I said earlier, on any platform that you enjoy podcasts on, save for, I believe, Amazon podcast, which that will actually be coming up here pretty quickly. So if you guys are a fan of using Amazon podcasts or whatever they fucking call it over there, I can't remember what it was called. Our podcast will be over there shortly, within the next, I say shortly, but it's probably going to be like a month and a half. You get it. You get it. It's shortly for our time frame, I guess. So if you guys do have any questions though in the chat, throw them in the chat right now and we'll get to them at the end of the podcast, which is coming up here pretty quickly. We do move into quick hits at the end of every podcast. These are just kind of little sections of the podcast and little news sections that didn't really kind of have enough, to them, enough substance to them to correlate full on talking about them as articles and everything like that. But it's enough for us to have like a very small conversation, which some of these might actually turn into a little bit larger conversations just to kind of fill in some of the information and some of the time. One of the bigger ones, and I know that you're probably excited for this, Scruffy, as well as me, live action Fallout series. Are you hesitant? Yeah. I mean, I am too. You
have to be.
Yeah, it's being made by
this
Amazon.
This is risky territory. It's being made by Amazon. It's risky territory just being a game adaptation to a show anyways. They have not gone well in the past. And it's one of my dear-hearted favorite game series of all time too, is Fallout.
Same.
So
I'm
like
curious.
You said, April 12th they are premiering the Fallout series.
I'm curious who they're going to have acting in it. Have they released any information on that yet? I don't think they have they?
I don't remember.
I don't believe that they have, honestly. But I'm curious, A, for the actors, B, for the story, and C, for how well they're going to do it. Because if you don't know, Amazon has not have a very good track record recently for their videos and their TV series. Most of them that they've
some
released
good
have been
ones,
kind of meh.
But they're very just hit or miss, and this is
more misses than
already
hits these
dangerous
days.
territory. Right. But
at least for me personally, so we'll see how it goes. I did not like the One Ring or whatever the fuck the Lord of the Rings one was. That was a complete trash heap for me, and so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
And then on top of that, speaking of hit or miss and being very hesitant on games, you guys ever heard of Skull and Bones? It's a little known game from Ubisoft. They made the it's a sailing game. They wanted to take the sailing out of Assassin's Creed 4 and make it its own game, and everybody was really excited for it. Everybody's still really excited for it. It's just too bad it's been delayed like 13,000 fucking times. You know?
Are we excited for it?
I mean, I'm personally excited for it because I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Black Flag's sailing, but I like that kind of stuff. I like the sailing and everything like that. But I've played in the betas. I've personally played in the betas. I didn't think it was that bad. It was buggy as shit, but that's Ubisoft for you. So I don't really think that's that surprising. But as I said, it has been delayed so many fucking times, and it just got delayed again. So they're delaying it, I think, until summer 2024, somewhere in 2024, if I remember correctly. And they're citing that they need to work on polish and bugs as the reason why they're delaying it again.
As they've been for
fine.
months and months.
Okay with that.
You're okay with that?
I don't care.
I have to kind of admit,
so long at this point that
I have to kind of admit that it's been delayed so many times now that I've kind of lost my interest in playing it, which sucks. Honestly, it does, because like I haven't been able to get that Black Flag sailing fix again on any game really. Like none of the games that have released recently.
Parts 3, the Pirates of the Caribbean level.
You think?
Yeah, dude.
It's got some pretty good shit.
But that's the problem that I have.
It's play through the entire game for that level.
It's just a level though. That's the problem that I have, is like I wanted a full game based off of it, and like I can't find a full game other than maybe Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is actually pretty good. Like from what I've heard.
You know what? Did you hear that they're coming out with a single player finally?
I did. Yep. They will be coming out with a PvE version. It's not a single player. It's PvE. A PvE. Yeah, you can still play multiplayer on it, but it's just PvE. Which is interesting. Well, I never thought that was going to happen.
Private servers that you can open now.
Yeah, it is. But I never thought
with other people.
I never thought that was going to happen. Honestly, I always thought that they
always said they were going to.
Did they? I didn't think they had.
I'm pretty sure that they always said that they were working on it, but it just took a while.
Yeah, really, that's been the only game that I've really gotten my fix for, like sailing or anything like that. And even then I couldn't play because I didn't like the PvP. I didn't like the sweats, the sweatiness of the PvP.
That's why I brought that up, is I know that, so I figured you'd be interested in that.
No, I saw the other day, my buddy brought it up. My buddy Shaldor and I have played it a couple different times. Definitely looking forward to that. Because like they honestly like Sea of Thieves has a really good like story. From what I've heard, like the storylines and the adventures, I forget what they call them. I think they're called like sea adventures or sea shanties or something like that. They apparently are really fucking good. And the recent one that they had with the collaboration with Monkey Island developers is supposedly phenomenal. It's supposed to be great. So that's going to be kind of cool.
I would love to jump into a private server on that and just
I definitely want to check those out. So
venture the seas.
But yeah, Skull and Bones delayed once again. I'm to the point where I don't really give a shit anymore. It's just it is what it is.
Like that's the sad thing about delays, is like delays are all good and all for
I don't mind delays,
quality game, but when you get to a point of delaying a game where it's just like okay, like another one, whatever.
I don't mind delays.
You lose interest,
but after a certain point, delaying it's almost like hurt. Just fucking cancel it, you know.
Cancel it or just come out with your shit, your broken shit.
Get your shit out there.
Because it's just gonna hurt no matter what. And it's hurting X Defiant right now too, is why I also brought this up.
I was really shocked about X Defiant not being released. That was crazy to me. I thought that was like I thought that was like a surefire they would done.
Like it was a sure thing.
Yeah, they did.
So anyways, do we have any questions over there on YouTube? I know we don't have any on Twitch.
We had a question over on Twitch from Sid.
Okay.
Yeah, from our resident sick boy Sid.
One, do you think Spider-Man 2 can win Game of the Year?
No.
Do I think it can? I think it can. Do I think it should?
It's a contender.
Do I think it should? No, I think that Baldur's Gate should win Game of the Year personally.
That's what I'm thinking. Baldur's Gate wins. I think it clears.
Much of a death grip on this game.
You think Zelda will? Holy crap! I don't know.
I think it's
Zelda
I think it's
is-
the only other contender besides Baldur's, like true.
I suppose.
Contender. Like,
I don't think
let's
Zelda
be
will
real
take
here.
it,
So,
but
you got
it's got to
Zelda,
be up there.
You got Baldur's. You have potentially Spider-Man 2. You have potentially Starfield. You have potential.
I don't know about that.
I don't think Starfield's gonna be on there. You
I
have
don't think so.
Potentially Resident Evil 4 remake, but I don't think it'll be there.
I don't
It's
think
a
it'll be on
remake,
there.
yeah.
What else is
There
there?
really
that
wasn't a
you
lot,
think is
yeah.
gonna be nominated.
Yeah, there really wasn't much.
Like, it's been a good year for gaming,
It
but
has,
like game
but-
of the year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm of the firm
know.
believer that I think that Baldur's Gate 3 should win it no matter what. Whether that actually happens or not are two different things, because I think it's going to be
I
another
think it
case
will.
of it gets
I
stolen,
don't know.
maybe, but we'll see. I'm curious. I'm curious if Spider-Man will win just because of Spider-Man, just because it is Spider-Man. So we'll see about that.
Mario Wonder has a really good chance at it too, because I heard that game's fucking phenomenal.
I don't
Is
know what
that-
that game is.
Is Wonder the one that you change into like an elephant thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's.
I've
the
heard it's
fucking
really good.
tits.
I've heard people saying it's really good. My
Oh.
brother, I think my brother and my nephew got it the other day. I'll have to ask him and see if they enjoy it or not.
Interesting.
But no, I think Spider-Man 2, as good of a game as it is for the Sony platform, I feel like it kind of has the same issues that God of War Ragnarok had.
It's just
where
more of the same.
It,
Yeah.
it plays way
Yeah.
too safe
Yeah.
from the original. Like the original work.
The only
and
thing
they
that I'm impressed with and that I've heard is really good is their swapping between characters is pretty
Oh
seamless.
yeah, it's lickety split
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah,
dude.
their
The-
load times are insane.
I did
bro.
And the
did
ray
see
tracing,
somebody
the ray-
I did
it
see
has
somebody
some of the
bitching.
best ray tracing.
Yeah.
I did see somebody bitching that like, oh, technically it has load time because you've got to hold down the button for 2.5 seconds to load between the two, to do the fast travel.
Yeah,
Like,
go
you
play fucking
fucking-
Starfield,
yeah.
bro.
I was like, go play Starfield for 5 minutes and see how long you have to wait
Jesus.
in loading screens.
Yeah.
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 And
So
yes, you are correct that Sony single player games do.
Oh, yeah.
do
They
very
do
well
well,
in the
yeah.
Game Awards.
that's the only
I
reason why I would say
still
that's
firmly believe
but so
Baldur's
do
Gate has a
Nintendo
chokehold.
games.
man.
the only reason why I would say this is because I know I'm probably going to get flack from people on the internet. Sony is the golden boy when it comes to game of the year. They always have been. I think they always will
No,
be.
Nintendo is. I think
It-
Nintendo is more
I
of a
don't
golden
know.
boy than what Sony is.
Recently,
I don't know.
Genuinely.
No, I think
Recently?
Sony.
Yeah.
I don't know about
At
that.
least when it comes to Zelda.
Well, sure, because Zelda's their staple, their
I
love
mean,
child. But
I don't know.
I don't know. I think
my
Sony
opinion is
SP
that
games
the recent game of the years have gone predominantly to a lot of Sony games.
they've leaned Sony. Yeah,
Yeah.
The
It was
Last
just
of Us, The Last of Us
is the only one
2.
I remember.
I thought God of War.
Last of Us 2, God of War did not win. They won. What's it called?
God of War
Elden Ring.
2016 one, but
That's
El- Elden
the
Ring
first
won
God of
over
War.
God of War recently.
Yeah.
Did it not? So
did Last of Us 1 and 2 both win
Yep,
Game of the Year?
both of them won
Yeah.
Game of the Year. Yep.
Both of them.
Are you sure?
I know for a
Pretty
fact
sure
that game
both
that
of
Last
those
of
had
Us 2
Game of the
did.
Year editions.
I know
think
for a fact that Last of Us 2
did
did.
not win Game of the Year.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I know for a fact that Last of Us 1 did because I felt like it got that's I can't remember what game it was, but I felt like it got robbed like hardcore. And the only reason why Last of Us 2 won was because it was Last of Us 2 and it was slightly woke. I'm not going to get into politics, but that's the case. So Sin saying it
figure it out.
did. Sin saying it did. So I don't know.
It
That
said,
my
at the
my
14th annual game,
Okay, so
it won Game of the Year,
it,
as
it
well as
came-
5 other categories.
Last of Us. It wasn't for the official Game Awards because it didn't come out the year that Last of Us 1 came out.
Okay.
Last of Us 1
Yeah.
was a 20.
Oh, God of War did. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Sin. You know what?
Yeah,
if you
Last
want to
of-
have
Last of Us
opinions,
came out
get
in
your ass on the
2013.
fucking show, you piece of shit.
Yeah, Last of Us came out in 2013. First Game Awards was 2014. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's my opinion. So, take that as with a grain of salt
We
as
have
well.
one more question here from Sinin. How much money do you think Sin has whaled on D4 Season 2 since it's come out?
Steven said millions of dollars. I said $20.
I'm-
said Stevens is closer.
I was about to say I'm gonna say that he at least
He
bought
dropped $1,000.
He at least bought the $40 for the extended Game Pass or whatever it is, the pass.
I'm gonna go
bundle.
$7.90.
I'm gonna probably say that each of those costumes is about 15 to $20, and he's probably spent. I'm gonna go like 450 to 500.
I'm sticking at $7.90.
You can spend a lot in that game, sir. There is a lot to buy for him. $500. Hey,
500.
Look at that.
Bones.
Yep.
What a
Sin has
waste
spent
of
500 bones.
Well, we always knew you were a
As
whale.
long as
Sin.
you're enjoying the game and making use out of the.
I have
cosmetic purchases, that is all that
speaking
matters.
of Diablo 4, I have heard tentatively that a lot of people are saying that season 2 is really fun. So
Once they finally got it working.
yeah, so obviously it had issues. It's fucking Blizzard. They're always going to have issues.
Crossplay issues or
But
some
from
shit.
what I've heard, season 2, like the actual seasonal content and the grind and everything like that, they've fixed the grind. They've shortened it. Yep. There's new ways for you to get experience. Getting to level 100 is about 40 to 50% faster, depending on what you do. There's a lot more gear drops apparently, and it's a much easier to get Uber uniques. So you take it with a grain of salt again. I don't know. I'm still under the assumption that Diablo 4 is not going to come into its own until like season 5, season 6, somewhere around there. So, but yeah, that is that all the questions that we had from our hosts. That should be all.
I think so.
All right, guys.
Look at that. We filled that.
We did. We filled that in pretty nicely. We're pretty much just on time. That is it for episode 102, the episode of Conflu, because Sin has the con plague. So thank you guys.
Says fuck Kingdom Hearts bad game.
Well, he has his opinions. They're welcome to be bad, but they are wrong. So that was the podcast, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys so very much, and we couldn't do this without you guys. We really couldn't. I think I can speak for everybody in saying that I look forward to the podcast every week, and when we can't do it, I am extremely upset. So I was very upset with everybody for not doing the podcast.
Tears.
Yes, yeah. I did. I bawled. I like ugly cried. It was bad. It was really bad. So
when you try, is it oil or is it like a saline solution? Like alternative?
You probably don't want to know. It's kind of gross. It's it's slightly sticky and it kind of has the same consistency as like Vaseline almost,
Does it short you out at all, or like
no?
Or is it more like mineral water?
It could if it got into certain areas, if it got into my my pee organ, it might,
Yeah. Your
what are we doing? Let's do it. Let's end this. Okay, that's it.
Don't get it in your dick drive.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us in the podcast. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next podcast, which I don't know when that will be, but hopefully it'll be next week. So
hopefully next week. All right.
Love you guys.
Y'all.
See y'all later.